Joining this morning is Rabbi Shaul Perlstein, and he is telling us a story I should say, of a wonderful lady that's going to be joining us in Chattanooga this Saturday. He does a much better job of telling the story than I do, so I'm going to hand it over to you, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, and it is quite a special opportunity, I think, that we have here in Chattanooga to invite Eva Schloss to town. She has an amazing story, one of her own. She also has what to share about Anne Frank, as they knew each other as children in Amsterdam, eventually became the stepsister of Anne Frank.
And we know that name from the Diaries of Anne Frank, you know, a very, very popular book and a very popular story from the Holocaust. And so this is her story as well.
Yes, and I think it's more about her story, which is fascinating in its own right, and it's a story of survival, you know, story of triumph. It's not just the story of being in the Holocaust, but it's how she overcame, how she went on to live her life, and that is where she can also share how the diary helped Otto Frank, Anne's father, move on, her whole family. There's, you know, that's a very important part of the story that we don't get to hear often, and I think that is really where the message that she can share and impact the audience with is.
So you had the opportunity to listen to Miss Eva last year. What was that experience like?
It was unbelievable. We went up with a bus from here in Chattanooga. Everyone on the bus has bought their tickets to come and hear her again. They all begged me on the way back to bring her down here because it's just when you hear it from someone who lived through it, and to hear that message, you know, personally, one of the things that shook me was how she can describe regular day life. Everything seemed normal. No one imagined that such a thing can happen. They were celebrating her birthday, a big birthday party, birthday cake and everything, when the SS knocked on her door and dragged them away. Wow. So things just changed like that, and I mean, it hits home when we realize unless we're proactive on creating a loving, caring, or, you know, accepting environment, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. History could easily repeat itself in many ways.
And it's scary to think how quick it can happen.
Okay, so give us the details. I know you were telling me a story beforehand that when you wanted to book Miss Eva for Chattanooga, you were originally told there was going to be a 6-year wait because she's that good of a storyteller. She
is, everybody wants her to come. You know, she hasn't been sharing the story for years, and that's part of her story, how she finally came to share it. And once she started, she realized the impact hasn't stopped. And God willing, she'll have many more years to share this story.
She's 89 now, right?
She is 89, and she says she will not stop. I mean, this is her second tour this year, and she's being brought everywhere. She's in Nashville tonight. She's in Memphis right after here. She's going to New York. And, you know, when we called originally, they said that she's booked on tours for almost 6 years.
Since you've heard her story, I want to ask what age group you feel would be appropriate to join. I know some people have school-age children that maybe be studying the Holocaust or something of that nature in school. To what age group do you think this would be appropriate?
I would say high school and above.
Okay. I was going to say, you know the details she gives, so I wanted to ask that in case there were any parents watching.
And actually, a couple days later, she's going to be speaking to over 4,000 students at the memorial, you know, to share that story. But for Sunday's event, I think, you know, there may be some more detail. And so, I mean, I would stick to more adults, but each family can choose on their own.
Absolutely. Well, that's good information to know, though. All right, so that is going to be happening this Sunday at the Memorial Auditorium. Doors are opening at 6 p.m. The show starts, or it's not a show, her story, I should say, begins at 7. Are tickets available beforehand or at the door?
Tickets are available beforehand at evatickets.com or Ticketmaster through the Memorial Auditorium's site. They will be available also at the door for those who want to walk up and get, but
I have a good chance it might sell out, so you might want to go ahead and get your tickets.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for bringing this opportunity to our area as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, be sure to mark your calendar and join us on Sunday, October 14th at Memorial Auditorium. Doors open at 6 p.m.